All right, it is a beautiful day having you all listening to the beautiful conversations. Transforming lives is not easy, and being the fact that people do not really understand what is going on in the world, that is why, as Crack the Odd, we step in to bridge the gap between those that are yearning to become something in their life and those that are willing to provide solutions for victories. And tonight, we have a very special guest with us, beautiful on black and green. Madam, please, I would love you to draw us to one of the key things in life. But before you do that, people would love to know, who is this woman seated here tonight in the studios to have to say a word or two to the people that are listening to us.
So much for this invite. I'm so grateful. NALUBEGA Florence, and I'm the Director of Studies, Makerere Secondary School. I also happen to teach. I do teach Luganda and economics. Those are my teaching subjects. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. So we are with educators, we are with senior experts in different industries. Why not tune in and listen unto us? So I believe as a teacher, I believe there is something that drove you to becoming that particular thing. So we would love us to help us understand, how does someone find themselves?
Thank you so much. I believe there are several things that can help you discover who you are in life. And me becoming a teacher was because of several factors, one of which is the passion I have towards seeing the young generation molded, seeing them disciplined, have a character. I want to see them become something in life. So since my childhood, I had that zeal of looking after others. So that's why I drove myself into becoming a teacher. And obviously the scores and the finances at home also decided, because teaching is one of the courses at university that are not so costly. So according to who you are in the family, you find yourself into teaching at times.
Yeah, driven to do something that you love eventually, even if you have the passion for it and there is no funds. There is the way how things don't align with the vision that you have. Wow. So I remember I learned some Luganda, nakasigira, nachingindwa, ngonge. So I do not really, but I believe you've taught for a couple of, it's a decade now. I want to believe that 10 years plus. So what is the experience as you spent more time in leadership? What are some of the qualities you would recommend a good leader must have?
Thank you so much. I believe a good leader must be one that listens. Actually, you get more when you listen. Like for us in the teaching profession, when you listen to these people, especially the young ones, you get to know their feeling, their expectations in life, and that helps you to guide them according to their desires. And when it comes to as a DOS, the teaching team, it helps you to know people's feelings. Some are not willing to act, but there is no way they have to run away from that. So really, leadership is amazing. And another quality that I expect from a good leader must be down to earth, because this is when you understand people. They will not fear you, but always you'll get their views easily, because you are not at a distance from them. You are always there with them, so they feel you are together, you are a team, you work together. And I also believe You must be one that is willing to speak to them openly where they're getting wrong, what they're not doing right. You must be able to share such that we make things right, because an institution must be directed in a certain way. Always, you have to remind them of what they're supposed to do, their responsibilities, and they do the right thing.
True. Sometimes it is more difficult leading people that the older generation version, eh? When they look at you and they're like, who is she? Like, how can she? But we get to understand, and we thank you for doing that great work and for the leading the generations 1, 2, 3 up to those other people that are impacting nations right now. I believe 10 years back then, some people should be in government, some people should be doing great things because of the core values that you instilled in them while in school. Of course, I can't let you go without having one or two other 3 things, concerns that you really have to address. Imagine a situation where a student is struggling to pull up the performance, be one of the greatest, maybe not comparing him or herself to someone else, but to improve her life in performance, academics. What advice do you have for them?
Okay, first of all, I would advise such a learner to first calm down and reflect on what they are doing, how they are handling their life. Reflecting on life actually is not only for learners, it's a requirement for individuals. If you're to improve in any area, you have to sit down and check yourself. How are you handling your time? What are you devoting your time into? What is that thing that is wasting your time? So that is the first thing that has to be done in case you need to change. You reflect on how you're spending the time and what you're doing. That helps us to see what we are not doing right, and we try to put it right. Another thing is consultation. We need to find out, such a learner would need to find out who is better than them, maybe in the same class or in upper classes, or even go an extra mile of seeing the teachers that can help.
Yeah.
And actually, even in life, you find out that in case you are into business, you are into any other activity, maybe like poultry, you need to consult those that have done it before, and they advise you on how you can improve. And that, I think, that can help.
I think it is better to teach from a lived life than an assumed life. We are just assuming things. I think 9 plus 9, it should be like 10. But if you've been into the practice, it would be a lot better.
Makes a difference.
Yeah, there is one of the greatest person who said, disappointment is only possible where expectation is present. We've all gone through one of those hardest times. So I believe you've gone through some challenges. Of course, life tricks us in one or two, 3 ways, but we always get back on our feet. When did you realize that you are in that moment, and how did you get out of that moment where you are disappointed and down on your knees?
Okay, thank you so much. I can maybe talk about the period of COVID. COVID was really a challenge, especially to us that were into the teaching profession. It was a time where all the finances, we could check the account, and every time it is decreasing without income, to the extent that you were only left with maybe the assets that were gotten before that period. Yeah. So that period, when we sat down, actually we were into Bible study at school, but we woke up and said we have to do something. And that moment, since COVID, lives have not remained the same, because the businesses we launched into have impacted our lives. Like, I personally launched into poultry. And in addition to that, I realized that I had potentials I went into trading. It was a nice experience. I had not been into trading. I bought some bananas and I kept them in my house.
So you're being creative.
So when those bananas got ripe, I got a challenge of how to sell them. I sat into my home and said, I put myself together and agreed to sell them. House door to door. Door to door. So I put them together into the basket. I began with my landlord. Said, landlord, I am selling something here. Said, oh, you are doing something? She bought like 2. I said, hey, it's possible. People can do the buying.
Yes.
So I proceeded, and by the time I came back, in around 30 minutes, the whole basket was bought. So I realized that I had several other potentials in business that I didn't know I had before COVID, and that has helped me to launch into more businesses because I realized the potential that I didn't know, that I didn't have before COVID.
Wow. Wow. Before COVID, for us, we are into okuzimba, okupota. So I learned a lot of discipline and being where I wanted to be. But I did all that I did because I had to do it. It was a discipline for me up to now that is keeping me grounded in everything that I envisioned for the world. Yeah, have one last question for you. On your deathbed, millions of people tuned in, actually billions, with a pen and a paper. And anytime you're leaving soon, what message would you leave for those people behind?
Thank you so much for such a great question. It is really great because it makes you ponder on what we would leave behind. But living life has taught me that you can have what you want in life.
Yes.
It's possible to have what you can have. Take an example. In my family, I was the first girl to graduate.
Wow, congratulations.
And I determined to do so. So it made me know that if you are determined and you put in all your effort, you can always achieve what you want to achieve. And I've seen it also in the other work that I'm doing, that hard work pays off. Where you put in everything, every effort, you always be paid off. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much, our beautiful guest. Unless you have anything to extract more.
As I conclude, I would like to say that to all the people out there, the children especially, keep in school. Stay in school. Since I'm in education, I can't leave that out. But as we stay in school and doing whatever we are doing, we have to make sure that we remain alive. I always tell my learners that we can achieve all the great dreams we want to achieve as long as we are alive. I always tell them that after the physics, the chemistry, you need to be alive to achieve the great dreams that you want. So no one should waste out their lives just anyhowly. Because when you're alive, even when you don't go to school, you can still make it in life. So thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you.